Treksploration.
Hello, Treksplorers, and welcome back to Treksploration. I'm Albie.
And I'm Chris.
And today, we are talking about Star Trek The Next Generation, Season 1, Episode 14, Angel 1.
Angel 1? Whatever happened to Angel 2?
The sequel.
Angel 2.
Angel 2.
Bullshit Boogaloo.
Yeah, we got some stuff to talk about for this episode. It's kind of strange. How you been, Chris? It's been a good few days, a week since I talked to you.
Yeah, I feel like the last time we did the Vulcan Hello, and we had to recover from that. If you guys haven't seen that or listened to it, you can find it on your podcast feed if you are a Patreon supporter, or you can just watch it right here on the YouTube channel. Click like the next video or the video before this one, or however it lays out on your screen. It's there. Mm-hmm. This is the sixth bonus or the fifth bonus episode that we did for
the Vulcan Hello. I want to say something like that.
And again, this one completely available, or is it just a preview on?
No, it's completely available because it's the first episode of a series.
All right, so we're rapidly running out of these. We have Lower Decks, and we have so it's going to be you guys are not going to get much more free bonus content from us. It'll probably take us another 6 months with the way we're recording, but still
we're trying.
Yeah, that light's going out. So. Mm-hmm. Go on over to our Patreon site and join the community over there. Hey, always be selling, right?
ABC, ABS,
ABC. Always be closing.
Always be closing. That's what it is.
ABC. Albie be crazy.
Always be closing. What is that from? Boiler Room? No, that's from Wall Street, right?
Glengarry Glen Ross.
Glen Ross. That's always been a difficult one.
Yes.
I think I own that movie, but I haven't seen it yet. So that's
I saw it once, and you know what? It was so it's infamous, I guess, because of all the cursing. No. But at the end of the day, I didn't think it was that great of a movie, even though Jack Lemmon's in it. I love Jack Lemmon, so I'll watch anything with Jack Lemmon. But
for some reason, I was thinking King Ralph was in it. What's his name? John Goodman.
John Goodman, he might be. It's been so long since I've seen it.
That's the Hudsucker Proxy.
He's in that. If it's a Coen Brothers movie, which Glengarry Glen Ross isn't, but if it's a Coen Brothers movie, you can almost guarantee that John Goodman's going to be in there somewhere.
Yeah. So I got.
And I think Hudsucker Proxy is a Coen Brothers, I believe.
What's the last movie you sat down to watch?
Oh wow, that's a good question. I guess that I actually in a theater it was Deadpool Wolverine.
Yeah, that was good. But at home, maybe. Do you watch any movies at home, or are you more of a TV guy?
I've been watching a lot of series. I've been watching Lovecraft Country on HBO. I've been watching Penguin, Lovecraft Country.
Okay, and Penguin's getting good reviews. I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, Penguin's real good. And I finally finished Watchmen, the HBO series from So I'm like 10 years behind on all of my stuff. I haven't been watching a lot of movies, and we've been doing a lot of Supernatural rewatching. Laura's been getting into Supernatural, so she wants to watch the Winchester Boys.
Enjoy one of your favorite shows with one of your life partners there.
Yes. That's a very rare occurrence for us. So,
as I am doing with you and
something
Star Trek.
We'll embrace. Oh, well, thank you.
The last movie I watched, I think I joined this 4K like Netflix disc club. Kind of thing. It's forget what it's called, like Chewy. No, that's pet food. Crunchy. I don't know. That might be granola. I don't know, but it's something like that. I'll put the link up. But you join it, and it's kind of like old school Netflix. You get Blu-rays in the mail, but it's 4K Blu-rays. So okay. I got Double Indemnity because I thought I'd seen it, but I didn't see it. It was really good.
4K, huh?
Yeah, in 4K Blu-ray. It was really nice. It was good.
Wow. Fred McMurray must be stunning in 4K.
I thought it was good. I'd never seen it. And like when you were telling me about it, I was like, what is he talking about? Jumping off a train and what?
Yeah, and you were like talking about how can people be tried for the same thing twice? We've already rehashed this, haven't we?
Double jeopardy. Yeah, but now I saw the movie. So now I know what we're talking about.
Good.
Yeah. So good movie. She was sexy in it. And then I was watching it and I was like, this plan is very convoluted.
Oh, it's the greatest. It is just the greatest. And Edward G. Robinson is in it. He's playing against type. He's not like a gangster. He's not like, hey, you mug. He's
he's got this feeling in his gut.
His belly.
I recommend it. After you recommended it, I recommend it. It's good.
Yeah, It's good. It's very good. What was the last film I watched at home? It's tough. A lot of times I'll put like crappy shit on that's on Tubi, and I'll just wind up fast forwarding through most of it. And then I turn it off because it's not good. But they have a lot of good bad 70s films on that. So I'm
Those
always
are good. I
looking
usually
for like sleazy 70s.
DVD lots and stuff. I just got a Jackie Chan prison movie I'm going to watch soon. So
Cool.
So lots of cool things to watch. I'm watching Survivor. I'm watching Agatha all along. You watching Agatha yet?
No, I don't have Disney Plus. I'm the only person in the world these days without Disney Plus.
That is weird.
And well, I'm not like a Disney fan, so I never saw any reason to get it. And then all of a sudden, Star Wars got rolled up into it, which I don't really care about. And now the MCU is rolled up into it as well, which I sort of care about, but not enough to get Disney Plus.
Oh, okay. If you get a chance to watch, it's pretty good. Pretty good. Rennie wants to be Agatha for Halloween, so I don't know what I'm going to be. So today we are talking about Angel 1. I was trying to avoid it as long as possible, but eventually we're going to have to talk about it because people are clicking on it to hear about it. So
Angel 1.
How about before we give our first impressions and such, we do the episode synopsis. So we're going to be talking about Angel 1, Star Trek The Next Generation, Season 1, Episode 14, original air date January 25th, 1988, pre-Taylor Swift. Writers written by Patrick Berry and directed by Michael Ray Rhodes.
Michael Ray Rhodes
Sounds like an old country music star.
Right? Sounds like a blues performer.
Yeah, I'd definitely pick up that album if I saw Michael Ray Rhodes.
Michael Ray Rhodes. So you could also be like a 70s soft rock kind of guy.
That's cool. I'd pick it up. Yeah. Did you hear Gaga's new album? It's really good. Harlequin?
I don't really listen to Gaga. I think she's phenomenally talented, but her music's not my bag, Dad.
Well, that's why I sent you this one, because it's standards, so you might dig it. Oh, it's kind of like what she did with Antonio Benedetto, but by herself.
Yes, Antonio Benedetto, the late great Antonio Benedetto.
The late great, yes.
I think that's Tony Bennett to anybody out there who's
for the uninitiated.
For his stage name. For those who only know his stage name. But I mean, I did watch a bunch of trailers last night on Apple TV because I was looking for something to watch, and I did watch the trailer for the new Joker movie, which has Lady Gaga. Did I say Joker? Joker.
That's different. That's the parody version.
Maybe I'm that's like a Freudian slip.
Maybe that wasn't Apple.
All right.
TV Plus or whatever.
But I gather she's playing Harley Quinn in that.
Yes. Gonna go see it in IMAX a couple days. It's a musical. It's a sequel to the first one, of course, and it looks amazing.
So where do you stand with Joaquin Phoenix?
I think he's an artist. I think he's weird on purpose to be that's part of his art. You know, the whole he's secretly amused that no one understands him kind of thing. But I think a lot of it has to do with just he's really an actor and he puts his all into it, kind of like the Daniel Day-Lewis guy with the pretending to be Lincoln with a left foot or something. And I really appreciate his work because he'll lose crazy amounts of weight or do this or go through strange things or pretend to be someone else for months at a time. So, but I enjoyed the original Joker. I thought it was amazing. So I'm looking forward to part 2. Folie à deux.
That's how you pronounce it? I couldn't figure it out.
I'm not sure. That's what I'm going with.
I don't speak French, so it sounds perfect to me.
Oh, thank you. So, I'm excited to watch that.
I should say, oui, oui.
Gaga.
Gaga.
Yeah, I'm Gaga over Gaga. So, I liked her in The Star Is Born. She was really good. So, I'm excited to see her in Joker. So.
All right, then.
Talk about that next time. So, Chris, episode synopsis for Angel 1.
Trying to avoid it.
Yeah, you can do Enterprise. I can't wait to hear your take on it.
The Enterprise. The Enterprise is dispatched to investigate the wreckage of the cargo freighter Odin, smashed by an asteroid 7 years prior. Upon arriving, they find no survivors, but escape pods are missing, and the closest planet within range is Angel 1. The Federation hasn't contacted Angel 1 in 62 years, but Starfleet has recently deemed it strategically important. as it is close to the Romulan Federation neutral zone. So Picard has orders to make nice with the female oligarchy that runs the one society on the planet. The traditional gender roles of Earth are swapped on Angel One. Big, strong, smart females doing all the hunting and fishing and fighting and governing. Small, weak, dumb men are kept, pampered, and are essentially second-class citizens. Riker, Troy, Yor, and Data beam down to make nice, Deanna taking the lead to speak woman to woman. But Angel One leader Beata will have none of it, rebuffing the landing party's overtures and refusing to even answer whether any of the Odin survivors made it to the planet. Troy senses fear and paranoia in the room, which of course means that the survivors are probably planetside and causing consternation. Beata finally admits that the Odin survivors did wind up on Angel One, all men, and they're causing political unrest, hiding out in the hills and demanding equal rights now. The crew sets about finding the survivors, while Riker goes sexy times native with Beata, mansplaining to her that men aren't really so dumb or bad. Long story short, the survivors are found, they don't want to leave, the Federation has no right to make them leave, and then they are captured anyway and sentenced to death. And while Riker has to figure out a way to further mansplain them all out of this pickle, everyone on the Enterprise gets space COVID, just as they are ordered to double time it to the neutral zone to thwart a Romulan incursion. Do any of our heroes have a holographic snowball's chance on Vulcan to pull this one out? Stay tuned and find out, this time, for the first time, on Star Trek, The Next Generation, Angel One.
Thank you for that, Mr. Chris. Wow.
Yes.
So before I speak, I wanna hear your first impressions of Angel One.
I think that you have a definite impact. This episode has impacted you somewhat. Angel One. See, I thought Datalore was bad. And then I watched this very, very confusing episode of Star Trek. I don't know what the point of the episode was. I'm trying to figure out like what the thrust was and what message it was trying to put across.
No thrust in this episode. I think they got interrupted.
Yeah. Thrustus interruptus. I'm. Yeah, there's a lot to discuss here. How about you with your first impressions?
I always had fond memories of this one because, like, without thinking about it, I always thought, well, it must have an interesting and important commentary on gender roles and stuff. And then just watching it again, it just seemed like a mess of cobbled together. Let's get through this week and go on to next week.
Agreed. I think that's a very cogent assessment of this episode. It's far more cogent than the entire episode was. So I guess, but before we start mansplaining it any further, maybe we should mansplain how people can reach out to us to let us know what they think of Angel One.
Absolutely.
You can subscribe, like, share, do all those things. It's patreon.com/Treksploration. That is where we're setting up our main hub of discussion for all this stuff. You can go there, you can support us as well, or you can join as a free member. Don't worry, all comers are welcome. We just want you there telling us what you think. Patreon.com/Treksploration. You can get us here on our YouTube channel. It's youtube.com/Treksploration. Get some comments below. You can Instagram us @TreksplorationPod. You can X us @Treksploration. You can email us at TreksplorationPod@gmail.com. You can call us on the phone, 707-847-6682. That's 707-847-6682. And you can drop us a line at P.O. Box 542, Bayport, New York, 11705. Just so everybody knows, we were alerted by our intrepid, I guess she's Linda? Linda. Our cadet, Linda, notified us that she had sent something to the P.O. Box and it had been sent back. I went to the post. I demanded retribution and justice like a man on Angel One looking for his rights. And that turns out that what happened was I did renew the post office box. I was about a month late in doing it.
Ooh.
And the woman who took my payment actually forgot to take the little thingy off the back of the post office box saying, you don't have this anymore. So it's now been rectified. If anybody out there has sent anything to P.O. Box 542, Bayport, New York, 11705, only to see it get returned, that won't happen again. We're sorry if you've done that. We're sorry for the expense and for the trouble. If you want to resend stuff, you can do so now. We will certainly get it in our hot little hands. And I'll finally have like maybe a Trek and Tell, because I never have one of those. So
that'd be cool.
Give us a Trek and Tell.
Did you go down there? Did you talk to him? How'd that work?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I got in my car and I went to the post office.
Wow.
I did it I was off on Wednesday morning, so I was able to do it. And then I did it. So, but you have to tell me now, we have this other thing that we can do where people can support us. It's this new fancy sort of micro
buymeacoffee.com. Kind of like a little tip jar, little tip setup. Maybe people aren't interested in, getting our, things that we have for like bonuses and audio downloads and all different things, but they just want to give us a little tip, because you tip the person that gives you your muffin in the morning. I don't know why, but
gotcha.
We're talking for a couple hours a week, at least 4 maybe, I don't know. So if you want to buy us a coffee, it's buymeacoffee.com/Treksplloration.
Ooh, so you can sit at the bar and put bread in a jar and say, man, you can trek on over here. I don't know if that was very good.
That was good. Piano Man, right?
Yep.
So on my cruise.
Songs about tips. Are there songs about tips?
Cruise I went on. It was my honeymoon cruise.
Oh, okay.
And there was a piano bar. And of course, I asked him to play the Piano Man, and he did. It was amazing. I was like, I was in heaven. It was great. There was like 3 people in the whole place because, cruise ships, they have like 15 different bars or something.
Yeah. So you were a lot of diddy dying over the entire ocean, is what you're saying.
Yeah, it was great. Also watched Titanic. I brought a little DVD player and watched Titanic on it.
Okay, I have to ask.
Okay.
Maybe an ocean cruise is different, but we went on a Nile River cruise.
Ooh,
wow. It's gotta be
you bougie.
10 years ago. 10 years ago at this point. Nile River cruise. We went to Egypt and we did a Nile River cruise.
Wow.
We're on the freaking Nile looking out over like this Egyptian landscape. And we're on this little boat with the rest of our tour. And there are 3 people sitting with a portable DVD player just watching Curb Your Enthusiasm. I mean, the fucking Nile with Egypt all around you, and you're sitting there watching Larry David. Like, what are you doing? And you're telling me now you're bringing Titanic on your but I can see, like, if you're at sea for 3 days, that's a little bit different. Because
I think it was a 5-day cruise.
Nothing going on there. It's a lot of water.
It was a 5-day cruise, and it was when I was, like, falling asleep at night, and already in for the night. And, we had an interior cabin. So like there was no real view or anything. And I was like, if you're going to watch Titanic, it might as well be on a cruise ship. Right. So there's just like, had Rennie watch Nightmare at 10,000 feet the first time when we were at like 20,000 feet or 30,000 feet, whatever they fly now. So that kind of thing, you always want to watch the one thing you shouldn't watch when you're, we didn't watch United 93 or anything, but we watched the Twilight Zone episode.
All right.
But yeah, like that'll happen. Like Rennie will be on her phone, like looking at YouTube shorts or something. I'm like, you're at Disney World. How can you? Well,
in Rennie's defense,
Disney World.
She goes to Disney World every other day. So, I mean,
that's true.
It's a little bit old hat for her.
Yeah. But we're close. So, just beam right over. All right. And what else we got on our stuff?
Well, we need to thank the intrepid explorers who have put a tip in our jar. Mm-hmm. That includes our $5 cadet, Listen Linda, our 1701 lieutenant commanders, Scott Seligman, Cosplay Dad, One of All, and Fantasy Fan, and of course the inimitable Charles from Texas, Captain Charles from Texas. Thank you, to everyone who's over on our Patreon community, please, thank you for looking and subscribing and for joining, and we're getting new ones every day since we've had an uptick in our YouTube traffic.
Yeah, we got some more subscribers, huh?
Yeah. So
what do we got? We're closer to our 10,000 subscribers, like we want.
Closer, yes. Mm-hmm. Definitely closer. Closer.
And did you see? I don't know if you noticed this on the YouTubes. It's not one of our listed videos, but if you go under playlists, there's a new playlist on our YouTube channel.
I missed it. I did not see it because I'm a bad YouTuber.
Well, you want to read it? It's right. It's right below the Buy Me Coffee link.
All right, here, hang on. Oh, wait a minute. We have select episodes in 3D. How did you pull that off? How did you pull that off?
Well, right now it's an up conversion, kind of like they do with the Marvel movies now and stuff like that. It turned out really well. I was surprised. But we did data lore in 3D. And
so it's the two of us in 3D?
Two of us in 3D. So if you got either a 3D TV,
poor people out there.
I think YouTube has a anagraph option where it's like the green and blue, like old school, like what is that? Creature from the Black Lagoon kind of thing.
Right, when they played that on Channel 11, right?
Yeah,
and you got the glasses from McDonald's or Burger King.
Yep,
I think it was Burger King.
So if you got a pair of those, you can do that. Also, if you got a 3D TV, which we have, you can watch it with the passive or the active glasses. If you got the Apple, what is that called? The Apple Vision Pro.
Oculus?
Yeah, and if you got the Oculus 3 like I do, you can watch it in there. But yeah, we're in 3D. It's pretty much the same thing. But if you think about it, and I researched this, because Rennie said, are you sure? You should look that up. We are the world's best Star Trek podcast in 3D.
I don't doubt it at all. So I guess that's an exclusive. That's a Treksploration exclusive.
Yes.
3D content. You heard it here first. You're going to see it again and again and again in the future because Albie is such a tech wonk that he just wants to create a virtual world. It'll be his virtual world, and we'll all be living. And we'll all be living in it.
The one to Wales episode.
It's late. It's been a long week. I used to be able to talk real good.
It's been a while. Yeah. We just took, things happen. You work and I work, and then we sleep. And so 3D episodes. So let us know if you want one done in 3D. Eventually, I would like to do in VR. Like VR 180, which is they have 360 and 180 in VR, of course, degrees. So 180 is pretty good. It's like pretty much your field of vision as you're watching something, but you can kind of look around. 360, you can look behind you at stuff, which is kind of cool when you're in like going around Paris or Philadelphia or something like that, Tokyo. But like just for like a POV experience, I would say 180 is probably the best. So eventually I'd like to get us both 180 VR cameras, but we'll probably need to get like sponsorship before then. So if
I was going to say, and a studio and that's lofty ambition.
I got the space station. You got the Sanctum Sanctorum, and I think both are really nice. And because I've been in your studio, so it's good in every angle. So if we got the 180 or 360 cameras, I think it'd be an interesting experience. There's a couple VR podcasts like on YouTube and other VR platforms that you can watch, which are interesting because you're watching them, but then you just look over and look out their window or look at their pile of boxes. They had a pile of boxes too. It's a thing.
Can I ask though? So are we one of the few 3D shows on YouTube? Like, are we on like ground floor? Like people will subscribe just because we're the only thing to watch kind of deal?
Not at all. Like if you get the MetaQuest 3 thing, you can go to the YouTube app and then you can just like click on 360 videos or 180-degree videos. And most of them are travel blogs, stuff like that, where people are traveling around different places in the world and you get to see all the places. Some of them are like interactive, like narrative movies, kind of. Others are just like home videos, but just in 3D or virtual reality, immersive, I think they're calling it. But there's
you're saying out there. We have the least exciting 3D content.
Well, unless you're a Trekkie, you're in the guys showing their left nipple on.
Everybody, if one deserves up conversion, it's this one now. But you need to stand up and model your outfit. I believe it was inspired. It was inspired by. I feel like your microphone's in the way of everything that you want.
Well, I'm doing the Austin Powers a little bit because I don't want to get demonetized because I think my boobs are quite voluptuous, if you ask me. And I didn't shave them because I was trying to grow the Riker chest, but no luck. Gotcha. But I did grow the Riker beard a little bit, but
And you got the goth nail polish on it, looks like.
Yeah, Rennie and I painted each other's nails October 1st. We started setting up all our Halloween designs and stuff and decorations and things. So she wanted to get into the mood, and we did. So, all Halloween-y out. We're going to watch all kinds of Halloween movies this month.
Cool.
Okay, do we have any feedback?
Yes, we do, from our episode about data lore. Sugi176, Sugi writes, wow, a negative score from Chris. I don't remember thinking this was a terrible episode. Sure, it has the overused evil twin trope, but I think Brent's performance saves it. I always found his portrayal of lore entertaining. From what I can remember, the timeline of events is as follows. If you recall, we had sort of some nebulous emotion chip drama going on in our conversation about
did he
it.
Explain it to us?
Yeah, so Damon breaks it down for us. In Brothers, Soong unknowingly implants the emotion chip into Lore, thinking he's Data. In Descent Part 2, Lore is deactivated and disassembled, and Data wants to destroy the chip because he thinks it's too dangerous after his recent experience with the Borg. But Geordi convinces him to keep it until he's ready, and then in Generations, he reaches an impasse and decides it's finally time to integrate it. So I guess there is emotion chip continuity, which I didn't know about. So there we go.
Okay, cool. Descent 1 and 2, it's an interesting one for me. It's the one where Data kills the Borg or something, and he gets pleasure out of it. It's just a weird feeling, that one. Okay, keep going.
Mm-hmm. That's stop.
Yeah,
stop.
Stop it. Stop it. Stop. Yeah.
We also talked about an episode of Sliders that had a double. So Damon, being the Sliders aficionado and expert, said, you guys brought up Sliders again, referring to the episode Post-Traumatic Slide Syndrome, where they thought they had returned home. They were wrong. Their double slid off that world 18 months earlier, except for Arturo. His double went into seclusion, waiting for them to return so that he could claim sliding as his own invention. And then the switcheroo happens at the end, where we don't know which Arturo slid. Tracy Torme, who also was Star Trek writer before he was a Sliders writer.
Love him.
Tracy
Mel's
Torme,
nephew or something, right?
Mel's son, nephew? I don't know.
Okay. I'll take it.
I don't know. Tracy Torme didn't write the episode, but thought the wrong Arturo made the slide. He also said that he probably wouldn't have dragged the plot line out beyond a few episodes. I'm not sure how different his influence would have been if he had written for Data and Lore. It might have been an interesting spin to have Lore pretend to be Data for a while. I could imagine the current post-disco era of Trek would have almost certainly tried this. All right. And then there's Before, but we don't need to talk about that. Anyway, great discussion as always. Look forward to hearing what you both have to say, Damon. So thank you, Damon, for clearing that up. We now know the journey of the emotion chip.
Shining so bright.
And poor Arturo is dead.
Yeah, I always assumed it was the wrong Arturo that slid with him. See, I was thinking more about this after we talked, and I was thinking that would be so cool if we, not even if they did that there, but made it plausible that they switched out somehow. And then like maybe 6 episodes on, Data like finds the Enterprise again and hails the ship, and like it's the whole thing. Like I'm the real Data, and then
right.
But they've been working with Lore for like 6 months or something. But Lore was a little bit too woo. To Lord Goth to stay sane.
Yeah,
for too long.
Pretty much. Yeah, a little too twitchy. A little bit
Before was a great name.
Twitchy.
That was a great name that was never used before in sci-fi, and they just nailed it.
Listen, enough with this Arturo jazz. Enough with this emotion chip jazz. If you recall, the most important conversation that we had in our episode about Data Lore was our personal toe hygiene.
Yes,
and how my ritual is to clip my toenails over the toilet and then flush them down. Mm-hmm. And we got a response. We got a response from Lowly Maggot 2 on YouTube. Lowly Maggot writes, I'd hate to be the plumber that has to snake the massive wad of toenails out of your pipes. Lowly Maggot, so would I. So
that's great. Even the name is great. I want to say maybe Lowly Maggot 2. I don't know the reference, but I'm thinking it's he was called that one time by Sergeant Slaughter or something. And he just
maybe it could be
Lonely Maggot was taken, so he had to be Lonely Maggot 2.
Maybe it was Niedermeyer. Maybe it was Niedermeyer. There was a pledge pin on his uniform. I don't know.
And I know we got another YouTube comment. I don't know if you saw it. It said, "Trust me, don't watch this. Don't watch this show."
I didn't see it coming. I don't know.
Is it going to? It was the latest one we did, the latest bonus on Disco. So I don't know if it was because of Disco. I don't know if it Don't Watch Us.
I try to save the bonus responses for the other bonus shows.
Yeah.
So
oh, that's true. Oh,
so a little bit of bonus continuity. So, oh, whoops. We'll read it again.
I'm sure you can mention it again, but I just liked it or hearted it, just to say thank you, I guess. Don't watch it, save people.
I'm going to say that it was they were talking about Disco.
Yeah, we'll go with that. We'll go with that until we get a better explanation. If they watch this show, then we'll know. Massive wad of toenails.
That's right. That was my rap name in college. My DJ name.
I'm picturing the cover of that. I'd probably buy that out the back of your trunk.
Yeah, you would.
Man. Okay.
So thank you for everybody who responded.
Thank you for the feedback. It's important that we let us know that you're watching. We got a whole lot of views and subscribers coming up. So thank you for everyone. New subscribers, new viewers. Thanks for checking us out. Hopefully keep going. If you have any 3D video skills, let me know how to make it better. And I think we're there. Main discussion. Oh my goodness.
You lucky bastards. Lucky bastards who are just now subscribing. You get to listen to Angel 1.
Angel 1. I think for me, this is the episode where that famous matte painting with Parallax is first used for like 15 different planets. I'm not sure, but they just keep repeating it over and over and over again. The exterior.
Oh, really?
Yeah, of Angel 1. Yeah.
Did you notice that one of the buildings on Angel 1, it's orange and it kind of has like sort of a like not conical, but sort of it is conical, but more like a dowel shape, right? Because conical implies that it goes to a point, but it's not. It's cylindrical. That's the word I'm looking for. Again, I used to have. It's an orange cylindrical building that has like an antenna sticking out of one end, and it almost looks like two little eye slits are on it. I swear to God, it looks like one of the droids that breaks down on Tatooine before Luke finds R2.
They do that kind of stuff. I'll have to check that out. I didn't recognize that. What is that called? It starts with a P, where you see things and things that aren't there. Humans see patterns, like in
paranoia.
Pieces. It's something like that. But the dictionary example is the face on Mars.
I would think that you would call that like anthropomorphizing something, kind of, because I don't know. Comments down below. Tell us how stupid we are. We are dumb, weak men, after all. So we do need correction from time to time.
Yes. We need to be cared for and controlled, because we're not capable of making our own decisions.
And kept. We do need to be kept.
I try it.
So, I mean, maybe we should give this episode some context. You told me to read the IMDb stuff. I didn't read that, but I read some Wikipedia stuff about. So you tell me what you uncovered about the genesis of this episode.
Well,
that might help.
I kind of put that off on you because I read it like 4 days ago, and that's forever in my memory brain. But my impression that I remember is that like they started off with the basic idea of matriarchal society and reverse gender roles, but everything else got changed along the way, and it was just like they didn't have any direction or where it was going, and then they just kept like putting band-aids on a gunshot wound or something, like, and it just never turned out. And when I read that after I watched the episode twice, I was like, that kind of makes sense, because this episode is like directionless and like randomness happens, and it doesn't really have a moral message or meaning that I can see. Maybe there's like 2 seconds of it, but other than that, it just seems like a complete mess.
Well, from what I read on Wikipedia, this was supposed to be... Hang on, I'm going to sneeze. And I'll start again.
I think the whole ship knows you're sick now.
I guess you're going to leave that in, huh?
Yeah.
To my famous echoing Klingon sneeze that only happens off camera.
Yeah.
But, from what I read on Wikipedia, this script began as an allegory about apartheid. So South Africa was in the news with apartheid, and there was a lot of cultural consciousness. Well, it's just about one population, one ruling class, suppressing and oppressing another segment of society. So they decided to try to do that with the gender swap trope. And I at first I thought when I was watching this, oh, it's going to be an examination of the ludicrous nature of gender roles. And we are going to get maybe some cogent and hopefully enlightening perspectives on how we, by subverting it, we can explore how it is in our society, that kind of stuff. You know, classic science fiction, right? So I was thinking, okay, we'll get something like that, but then nothing like that materializes really. It's just you have Barada. Barada. I was thinking of the cheese.
Ooh,
a nice burrata. Ooh.
Speaking of cheese, we both need to get the cheese advent calendar.
There's a cheese advent calendar? That must stink.
It's got a lot of Gouda in it.
I don't think that's any Gouda. I was looking for a pun. I'm going to steal your pun immediately after you say it.
Okay, that sounds great.
But yeah, so I was hoping that this would be something that had a real cogent exploration and bringing up different ideas to combat, things in our society, the norms that we live by that are not really norms, but choices that were made a long time ago.
And then we have to follow them.
For the advancement of a few. But it just turned out to be... All right, let's go with the gender role thing.
Yeah, let's start there. That's kind of what they're putting out there.
So we have this planet with the women being dominant, which is fine, which is great. Why then do they even send Riker down at all? Like, why send Riker or Data to do, maybe Data, because Data as an android is, as he even says in this, I'm anatomically male, but I'm a robot. So
that could be interesting.
I think it might have been
sexualizing him as like a play toy, I think, in that second.
Maybe, well, I mean, Riker gets the same treatment as well. But I thought that maybe they might say something along the lines, and maybe this would be hack and cliche too, of how they actually get along better because it's more of a female-centered whatever. But they just made the females what is traditionally a male role on Earth and just swapped it. So it's not like they had any kind of nuanced message with the gender role swap at all. They just flip-flopped everything. So that right there was misguided.
Yeah, they made the women, like, for lack of a better term, chauvinistic towards men instead of like having a female-led society that is actually functional. Because I think it's about time to give women a chance at major leadership in our world, I think.
Yeah, well, you can say chauvinistic, female chauvinistic instead of male chauvinistic. Here's the thing. In our society now, chauvinistic is been conflated with male chauvinism.
Right.
But chauvinism itself is just favoring of anything over it. You can be Bijan chauvinist. You can be...
the etymology of that? Was that named after a person that did something?
I don't know. So again, down in the comments below, people need to tell us the origin of chauvinism. It sounds like it's a proper name that became co-opted, right? So, so there's really no nuance there. And from what I read about this, a lot of people in the production were not happy with the gender swap thing because they felt that everything that was portrayed was so horribly sexist that they kept on tweaking it and tweaking it and tweaking it. And even Patrick Stewart had a say in like changing a lot of this.
Really? Okay.
So that it wasn't as screamingly bad as it was on the page. So what we're seeing is the course corrected version of this script. And at the end of the day, nobody on the production really liked it at all. So it's I think it was Kevin Smith that said, if you have a 26 episode season way back when in the old time TV days, the rule of thumb was you get 7 that are okay, 7 that are shitty, and 7 that are fantastic. Yeah. And this one falls into the shitty category, I would think, for next gen.
I would agree with you. Like it could have been something. It had a good idea, right? To show because we're talking 88, so there was still a lot of gender discrimination in the United States at the time. I mean, there is still now, but I think it was more prevalent back then. It was still probably at madman levels. Uh, where people were being called sweetheart by their bosses, and stuff like that. It echoed a episode of Quantum Leap that we've talked about before, where Sam leaped into what is it, Samantha Stormer,
Yep.
and had to deal with the gender divide from the other way around. I think it could have been something, but I just think it was just poorly written, poorly put together. And if you're gonna swap genders, and like they said in the I guess the captain's log or something, where the women are stronger and bigger, or whenever they explained it. But the two main characters, Beata and Little Mermaid, what's her name?
Ariel.
Yeah. They weren't. They were just maybe almost 5'7". I don't know. But they did good casting with the like bodyguards. They were tall women that were muscular. I think if they should have cast the whole planet. If that's what the planet is, I mean, it's LA. You're going to find 6'2" women that are bodybuilders, and two of them will be able to act, probably, right? So I think they should have went that way because they still had small women, but what they did is they just got smaller men to like compensate for it. But it didn't play against the Starfleet crew like it would have or should have. Like I'm picturing like people like Joni Lawler, China or Asia from WCW, like big, tall, strong women. But I guess men in politics here on Earth, they're not big and tall and strong. So a lot of them are tall because people, if you notice, a lot of tall people become natural leaders, even if they don't want to be, because people just put them in leadership roles. So I could see that and why they did that.
So that's what's been holding me back from becoming president. Thank you. I'm going to go out and get lifts tomorrow.
Yeah. And I think the women were still wearing heels and they still wear makeup. They shouldn't have done makeup at all. Like they did no makeup like they do to the men. But they were still wearing makeup and they still had their hair poofy. Bad hair in this episode. Really bad hair in this episode.
Spectacular 80s hair in this episode. Spectacular.
Bangs.
They look like every girl I went to high school with in this episode. Actually, the hair was a little bit tame compared to Long Island hair in the 80s.
Yeah,
but
didn't
still,
have
it was
big poof.
It was approaching.
Bangs.
Yeah.
Never bangs.
You should have seen the mane of hair that Laura had when we first met.
Oh my God. So much Aquanet. Yeah. So much Aquanet.
It was just like somebody got caught in a wind tunnel.
5'4" or 5'9", depending how you count it, So Jersey Shore.
Yeah, pretty much.
Snooki.
So
Snooki? Yeah. Snooki. What's Snooki? I don't know. Snooki. Snooki something else. Oh, that's Snooki.
Snooki is the Jersey Shore, isn't it? Yeah. One of them's Jersey Shore.
No, that's Snooki. Sookie's our Sliders guy.
Oh, Soogie. That's Soogie.
That's even different. That's like Giorgio and Giorgio. So
it's all right. I forgive you because you're a dumb man and you don't know.
I am a dumb man.
What you're saying?
I need to be. Yeah. I need to be handled.
Yeah.
Right. So things are interesting. You said why not just send the women down, and I thought that too, right? Because there's equally qualified officers. Of course, Riker's the first officer, but underneath him, are plenty of capable people. But I think it was important that they sent both genders down because then you wouldn't have them being mistreated, so there wouldn't be that conflict.
Yeah. I mean that obviously it's because plot elements. Yeah. Essentially, I look at it as a lost opportunity. Most, if not all, classic science fiction is allegory. Star Trek is firmly allegory up until DS9. I think, and maybe later seasons of Next Gen, but certainly TOS is all allegory. And this is as valid allegory fodder as anything else, to do the gender role swap, to talk about sexual politics, to hold up a mirror, to examine how it happens here. But it's like they got that as an idea and then didn't know what to do with it. And I think the gender roles being switched here was to almost no purpose. It was just because.
Mm-hmm.
And then as we go on, I mean, we get this sexual politics aspect of the show. So this is where it really goes off the rails for me, because before this, it's just kind of boring and just kind of dumb and just kind of cliched that, okay, well, we have the women who are dominant chasing after the men. I got kind of horrified a couple of different ways this could go, because back in the 80s, I think the internet is starting to boom and you have the birth of the incels coming up. And I really thought this was smacked of the men's rights movements that were being fomented at the time. And poor men are so trodden upon and down. I mean, there's a whole segment of the internet where men just bitch about how society has oppressed them. Mm-hmm. because they can't hate the way they want to or be sexist the way they want to. And how dare you stifle me and my natural male instincts? I mean, yes. It really is. It's a bad that bullshit even took over science fiction, and they co-opted the Nebula Awards and all of that. Just look it up. But I don't want to get on their radar. But you know what, you. At the same time, it didn't really go that way, although it had the potential to do it, and it kind of did, because the men are oppressed here and they are second-class citizens, but the ones who are standing up are not the ones that are being oppressed, so to speak, that grew up in that society. They're the ones that came to the planet with their own ideas of what masculinity is and what gender roles should be, and they are now imposing that upon the society. And Riker is in this weird place where he has to walk this middle line, where he has to cosplay like you're cosplaying right now for dubious purposes. I mean, why does he have to dress up like one of the serving men in order to parlay with Barada?
Well, if you remember,
and the cheese lady with what's her name? Yada.
I just remember because the dude's with the crystal ball and she's like Beata at the last second. I'm like, dude, right. She's gonna kill your husband. I mean, freak out a little bit before that.
Yeah.
Why? Yeah. Well, that was interesting. Why Riker had to wear the outfit. A few reasons I was getting from it was, one, that Riker's totally fine and confident with his gender role, sexuality, whoever he wants to be. So he can wear whatever he wants, as I do all the time, because I know who I am and I don't care what other people think. And he had to wear feathers on Armus, if you remember. And if you put feathers on Armus, that's tar and feathered. So
feathers and I think you might be the only one in the history of Star Trek who figured that out.
Yay. I just thought of it just now as I was saying it. But I think it also it brought up to me a lot of times, like in movies and fiction, you'll see a man give a woman a pretty dress, and that's like a thing. And the woman is so happy to put it on. And we as men, or at least male characters in fiction, like I'm thinking of like 50 Shades or a couple other things, and Indiana Jones, where she gets the wedding looking dress from the guy. Like, we think that's a good thing. We got you a pretty dress to put on. But so this kind of worked on me being a male. I saw Riker be given a pretty outfit to put on, and I was like, oh, that is kind of demeaning and, not a nice thing that I thought it was. It seems to be more of like an insult and rather than a compliment, if that makes sense. So that changed my mind. So that gave me a little bit of a work on that. I just thought it was fun for Frakes to be traipsing around with his nipple hanging out.
What struck me about that scene was they played it completely for comedy. Mm-hmm. So it was yet another thing thrown into this episode, like you were talking about, just a mishmash of different ideas that were slapped together at the last minute. It did a very grave disservice, I think, to Tasha and Deanna, because they're right, like schoolgirls over the fact that he's dressed in the native garb, because it's so effete. It's so against his type. But Starfleet officers, diplomats, seasoned voyagers to different cultures, you think they would be a bit more circumspect about going against what they perceive as norms.
Right.
And especially with Roddenberry's fixation on perfect humanity, the fact that they react this way is jarring to me and somewhat insulting to the ideals of the character. And you know me, I'm not Mr. beating the drum for the great bird of the galaxy bullshit and the Roddenberry vision, the so-called Roddenberry vision. But I do believe that Star Trek is evolved enough where Riker could wear anything he wants and they'd be okay with it. He's got to wear something in his off hours.
Mm-hmm.
He's already watching the chicks play the harp with their togas. Maybe he wants to have casual toga. I don't know. Yeah. But why would anybody want to laugh at him for that?
That's so true, because they'd be so more evolved by then that anybody could wear whatever they wanted and nobody would think of it as a joke. So almost society going backwards again in that way. Like I could see it for 1988, because even now, if you wear too feminine clothes as a man, you get snickers, But what was it saying? All clothing is gender neutral unless you're an asshole, Wear whatever you want. But it is weird and out of place that they were giggling. It was again like a bad improv episode, and it really felt like they were making it up as they went along.
Yeah, and maybe that was fine. They wanted to do some comedy relief because that's how the viewers at home would relate to it a little bit. And then Riker takes umbrage with that and says, "What's wrong with it? I'm just doing what I have to do to effectively communicate with the leader of this community." Are you really? I mean,
I think he just saw it and said, "This will be fun."
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, it's almost like Will going on a lark here. And I kind of like that because it just shows that Riker is adventurous and open to different experiences. And let's face it, he knows wearing this is likely to get him late. So we can't discount that. We can't talk around that or we can't make his motivations more than they actually are. I mean, they're pretty base.
I could see that. I didn't think of that before, but true. Because like if in our society in fiction, if a guy gives a woman a pretty dress, he's dressing his gift for later that night, basically. So
yeah. So
Riker didn't get any in this episode, right? I watched it a few times, and I think they always got interrupted.
No, I don't think they had thrustus interruptus. I think that when they pan away from her lighting up the globe,
okay,
and then they go to the caves, what's happening in the caves is concurrent with the act. Let's put it that way. I'm trying to stay PG here. I'm sorry. I don't want to, even though we drop F-bombs and stuff.
Sometimes accidentally I forget to take them out.
Yeah. But I have to ask now. Is it appropriate for Riker to sleep with Beata?
Absolutely not. I don't think so at all.
Not at least not in a Starfleet professional capacity.
Right.
So, I mean, in what capacity is he on that planet? To cement relations so that we have a strategic spot for the neutral zone and to rescue the survivors of the Odin somehow?
I had a thought. Back at Starfleet headquarters, all those aliens with the dressed like Starfleet admirals with their little things sticking out the back of their neck. They're going, that planet's run by women. Send Riker there, because that's what Riker does.
All right. I mean, they basically relegated him to more of a Kirk role here because Kirk would bid anybody that he could. It's actually a little bit more exaggerated in fan lore than it actually happened in the original series, but still, that's the impression that everybody has of Kirk. So they're doing the Kirk thing here. And Riker has a lot of Kirk moments in this episode.
Yeah, actually. There are. It would fit more in with the '60s Trek, maybe. From Riker's point of view, I was thinking, like, if you went to a planet where like the men were hit on all the time, and he's the one usually hitting on women, and he just got women hitting on him, he would play along at first until he got tired of it, I'm sure, so he was just he would love to play that role, and he's not going to say no because she had that bad hair.
I guess. But then what does it say about Beata? Jesus,
Beata?
I'm going to do it. Thank you. This is another grave disservice to the females in this episode. You want to posit that there's a society where females are strong, independent, men are weak and kept, and that's fine. Strong, independent females, fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have the outside man, the other that she's afraid of, that she's hunting down on her planet, literally hunting down. You have another one come down. She gussies him up. And then he proceeds to explain to her, as I was saying in the synopsis, mansplain to her how she should be thinking instead of how she does think, how their society should function instead of the way it does function. Mm-hmm. And it's almost as if he seduces her with these strange ideas, and she just needed a big, strong macho man to come and show her the truth, to show her the real way. I'm so turned on by you. I've never had a man talk to me the way you talk to me. It's like he needs to go and you know, have hand to give Seinfeld reference. What does that say? What does that say about any kind of message that this episode is trying to promote about strong, independent women?
It's reaffirming that women are inferior to men. I would say. So that's the wrong message. And that is backed up and repeated by the good people on this planet that don't think that the gender roles should be what they are on the planet are, what is it? Ariel, who is taking a husband, which was part of the crew they were looking for. What was his name? The Han Solo guy?
That was Ramsey. So she wanted to be like a subservient role to him as his wife, and him being the leader of their little couple family thing. So that's what I got from it, because okay, that's what I got from it, that she wanted him to be in charge. So it was almost like a dom sub thing, but like which would be a societal norm for at the time for our typical gender roles. Wow, that's a lot to say. But that's what I was getting the feeling of it. So the good person on the alien planet on Angel One was the one that wanted the men in charge, basically. And it wasn't about equal rights, whereas I think the Starfleet officers came in from the perspective of they wanted equal rights. Because if you notice, they don't really talk about genders too much, you know, our crew, the 1701 crew, but it's the aliens that are talking about male, men, you know, different things like that and pointing that out, like dude bro asshole would, I think. I don't know that Ramsey wanted to install a patriarchy on the planet. I really think that he just wanted
his
to be able to live
for his particular relationship.
I don't know if I saw that.
Okay.
I have, but that's, you know, I think that's as valid an interpretation as any. I guess I just didn't see enough between the two of them to support that in my mind. And knowing that she comes from a society in which she was born to believe that women are superior, that she would at least say, okay, I'm going to deign to bring you up to the level of an equal. That's the way I saw it, which is fine. I mean, which is, you know, Riker said, it's not revolution, it's evolution. Because why? I don't know. Because he needed to have a Kirk speech, and it was, I mean, we're looking at an episode here that makes the speech at the end of the Omega Glory seem like the pinnacle of Star Trek.
At least this episode didn't have an American flag. We were right on the same page, right there.
I couldn't help but think of Omega Glory when I saw this episode, 100%. And I just freedom. You speak the warship words, freedom. I guess when Riker does have that moment, it only points out how bad this episode is. Even in comparison to one of the lesser episodes of the original series. I've actually met people who've told me Omega Glory is their favorite episode. So you can never tell.
Maybe?
Huh?
Overly patriotic people?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I mean, I guess they thought it was a neat idea, whatever. They just like the flag coming in and dun, 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 playing.
It was a time back then, you know. I want to say this episode was trying to say equal rights is important and good, and that's what it should be: equal rights, not dependent on gender. So, but I don't think they got anywhere close to that. I think they succeeded in one part only for me. If you remember, who's the male attendant to Beata? That
He's the only other one listed in my credits here. I believe that was Leonard Crowfoot as Trent.
Leonard Crowfoot, who we see later on as Lol, as the gold Gollum version of his daughter before it's the woman from that HBO show. I'm going.
Gotcha.
But when I think it's when Beata is talking to the crew about the library and males aren't smart enough, that scene type, and she insults him, saying like he's not good or something, he's dumb or he's not as good as women, and I think she says something like, maybe you could teach our men a thing or two, and looking at him, and he
Right, that's when she's talking to Data.
Yes. And she looks at him and he has this he's enjoying the day, but then he gets insulted for being not as good because he's a male, and you just see the disappointment in his face. And I felt that, and I that to me they translated right for the gender swap, because so much in history and time that happens to women all the time. They just get dismissed because of their gender. So I appreciated that. I think they got it right there in that few seconds.
Then why didn't they have him be the instigator for the rebellion, for the evolution? Why did it have to be an outside actor that had no dog in the fight until they decided to take a wife on that planet? I think that maybe because it was the only way the writers could think of getting a Federation angle to provide a reason for the Federation to be there, essentially. But that is kind of weak sauce too, because they could be there for any reason. They even set it up. We need this planet strategically for the neutral zone. So that's the only reason we need to be here. We don't need to have these people being rescued. So it would have been a little bit more organic, at least, if they had Trent,
that character, have a name?
Rising up and saying, "Hey, did who have a name?"
Crowfoot. Oh, Trent.
Yeah, that's what I said, Trent.
Yeah, you're right.
So having Trent rise up, or have Trent maybe be the leader of some kind of rebellion, it would have been as cliche as this, cliched AF, really. But it would seem a little bit more organic to the premise that they're giving us here.
That would have been good. That would have been really good. But I think Trent's portrayal or Leonard Crowfoot's portrayal of Trent gave me more of 1950s housewife vibes. Outwardly, they seem very happy with the situation and what their role is, and they're not questioning it. But every once in a while, you see the disappointment in what it is.
I think that you have a very Pollyanna, Leave It to Beaver notion of how people thought back then. Because that's what's been presented to you in popular media.
Right.
Women were always as independent and as smart and as driven as they are now. Oh. It's just that you've been used to watching June Cleaver being ecstatic with her lot in life of wearing her pearls and organza apron while vacuuming and doing the dishes. It's always been a lot messier than that.
I don't wear pearls.
You could, though. You could totally rock pearls, especially in that blouse.
Yeah. Thank you. You like my blouse? I got it special for tonight. I was like, do you have anything that will show my left nipple, please? Maybe over this way in the large size. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, but I think just thinking in those terms, again, just doing that straight swap, you casting Trent in that role as the largely content, yet sometimes dissatisfied, subservient partner is just an artifact of a phony narrative that we've been sold about the way it used to be. I think people have always been messy and complicated and independent and striving for what they want, even within the strictures that they found themselves in. And I think that image that we have of the nuclear family with the happy wife by the husband's side is largely bullshit in terms of the way it was presented as flawless and the way things should be back then. I'm sure plenty of families were like that and plenty of families were happy like that, but you can't paint every single person in America in the 50s with that brush, or every single family in America with that brush.
What was that called? The nuclear family?
Nuclear Family, my favorite episode of Quantum Leap.
That's why I said it. Yeah.
Yes.
So apparently it wasn't like the Donna Reed show or My Three Sons, or no, I guess there was no woman in
My Three Sons had no mom.
No mom. Just the older
no
gentleman
mom.
that the dad disappeared.
Just Fred McMurray from Double Indemnity. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Uncle Charlie, before Uncle Charlie, they had William Frawley as Bud, who was sort of like the manservant. So, and that's Fred Mertz. So
Fred Mertz, I do remember him from the show. Yeah, he was good on the show. He was good.
He was in the black and white days, and then they brought in.
They made color versions.
Yeah,
maybe they didn't run those on Nick at Night. I don't know.
Yeah, it used to be Chip and Robbie and forget the other one, and then they brought in Ernie, who was like the cousin Oliver with the glasses, and that's
Oliver.
when they were in color. Yeah,
I have a bad.
I used to watch My Three Sons like
complex
every day.
That another time, but yeah, that was a good show. That was a good show, ahead of its time. But so life wasn't like that. I guess life's not like what we see on TV now, anyway. Also,
and yeah, I don't mean to take it to task. It just seems to me that you're generalizing in terms that are just completely faux archetypal. And maybe that's as deep as this script gets. Maybe that's what they were going for. I'm not saying that you're wrong to look at it through that lens.
Mm-hmm.
I just feel like that lens is bullshit.
Yeah, see, I like that.
And I hope that doesn't insult you.
Not at all. Not at all. That helps me. It educates me, because I just assumed that the 50s were like the TV on the 50s, because that's all I knew. So I didn't.
No, watch Pleasantville.
I do like that. Pleasantville's good. I think I have it on Laserdisc. It's got Spider-Man in it, right?
If it came out on Laserdisc, you have it.
Yeah, pretty much. One thing I did like about this episode is we got to see Geordi take command of the bridge for the first time and start his command career, basically, like that moment where Boimler sits in the command chair for the first time.
I thought that was really cool. I like that moment with Geordi. It's nice to give LeVar something to do. Finally, I don't think we've seen much of his character in this first season, and they certainly have not defined him in any specific way, except for the guy with the banana clip on his face. So this was a nice turn for him, and it was also, I think, a nice showcase to just have him and Michael having scenes together. It was a very effective way to augment and flesh out the ensemble, and for two characters that we haven't gotten very much with at all yet.
Mm-hmm. I think that was done well. I like them those two together. And I like the moment where Geordi was still in fix-it mode and wanted to fix, was it the temperature controls? But then Worf had to explain to him there's other people do that now. I really love that moment. That was nice. That was like a colleague helping out another colleague, and a friend helping out a friend, saying, nope, you're in charge now. It's other people's turn to do that kind of stuff. I like that.
Right. It's Klingon wisdom sandwiched between two sneezes. It's 2 episodes in a row now where we have sneeze humor.
I know. I wonder how far that's going to go. I wonder how far that's going to go. Okay, you mentioned it in the synopsis. Everybody had space COVID.
Space COVID.
For me, this is just another example of they didn't know what the hell to do with this episode, because it seems like when they don't know what to do, everybody on board gets sick, and then Beverly has to solve it. It's just been done before, and again, and again, and again.
I'm completely baffled. Was the implication here, because I really didn't pay attention. I know that she said that Wesley
I didn't pay attention 3 times.
Wesley somehow got this bug on the field trip to Kazulu 8. Is that the holodeck program where they went to ski?
I don't believe so. So that's what my impression
Did they
was.
intimate that they got this bug somehow through the holodeck program?
Right. That's what I always thought, like just watching it passively to enjoy it. But doing the little bit of research I did, and then having the closed captioning on and stuff, I realized that there was 12 students that went to a field trip on some planet. And apparently when they came back, they either went through a shuttle or they didn't go through the decontamination of the of the transporter, or they didn't rub blue gel on each other. Which I'm glad they didn't show kids rubbing blue gel on each other. Thank you.
Yeah, inappropriate.
But I think they got that from a in real life field trip, and then it just manifested while they were playing in the holodeck.
I see. Maybe from the cold and the wet.
Maybe, and from the sneezing
Could
congestion.
be.
I guess you get that from snow. I don't know.
He caught his death of a cold. Yeah, I was really concerned about that because that again opens up a lot of possibilities for the holodeck that they have since dropped. So I guess they were following the call of Cthulhu. Somebody had to say it. So Cthulhu 8. Imagine what happens on Cthulhu 9, huh? But it's you're right. It was stock plot number 3, B plot 27C. Okay, yeah. Everybody on board is sick. And not only that, they conflated with another B plot 28C, which is, and the Romulans are massing on the neutral zone, and we have to get there yesterday. Oh no, the ship is disabled, or the people on the ship are disabled.
I think I read this is the first instance of mentions of Romulans on Next Gen.
I did. I did. You read it and I read it. I read the same thing. It is what I meant to say there with such force.
Okay. So I guess they're peppering in things for later on in the season, because doesn't it end season 2 some Romulan action there?
I think season one, yeah, I believe it does.
1, like the Romulans are back, dun 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 kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I guess it was probably a nice shout out to the people who were TOS fans watching this. Finally, we get some hint that they're still Romulans, that the universe that we know still exists in some capacity. Gonna sneeze again. This is how,
you have space COVID.
I'm going to say, you don't make fun of Cthulhu 8. What happens on Cthulhu 8 stays on Cthulhu 8. Otherwise,
exactly.
Oh, well. So I'm going to snip into the microphone. Sorry about that.
Hey.
I noticed that. I want to apologize to everybody. Let me just let me stop the show. Let me bring it to a screeching halt right here. I've noticed that Albie doesn't edit my track out when I'm not talking. So I will endeavor in future to stop sniffing into the microphone every 17 seconds. I'm really sorry about that for anybody that listens on earbuds.
I edit it out most times, not all times.
A lot. Yeah, I know. I'm listening to it. I'm just like, why is he leaving in my disgusting breathing? Just to help.
A little inside baseball. The post-production on the episodes takes anywhere from 8 to 12 hours.
Yeah.
And like if I have 4 hours to do it, it's just basically go through it. If I hear the F word, take it out. And put in the special effects, the overlays, the music, but like when I do the 12-hour version, I do take out the breathing.
Yeah, no, I've been there, and I know it can be a real pain in the ass. It's probably much easier with audio editing too. So.
But I have a separate track that is just your breathing, and I play that at night when I'm sleeping, so I feel like I'm not alone.
I'm lucky you. See, all you needed was a big strong man to come in and tell you what you needed.
Exactly.
You and Barada.
So this cup, right? They're talking about fine platinum on the planet, right?
A loving cup.
And Han Solo Jr. has this cup. And I'm assuming it's platinum because he's like, hello, welcome to my cave. Look at my cup. This is my cup. And then they cut back to the landing party. And then he's like, I still have a big cup. It's metal. And they're like, we found you because of platinum. He's like, oh, it's my wings.
Yeah, I don't think he's drinking out of a platinum cup. What is he? King Farouk?
I don't know. They could replicate anything then.
No, there's no platinum on this planet or replicators. They have death rays, but no replicators. Brought
stuff with them on the escape pods. They were in the escape pods for what, like 5 months? It said, or something like that. 5 months,
I believe. Yes, 5 months.
And at warp, they got there within a day or so.
Oh, they just said with whatever speed, the maximum speed of that shuttle, it would have been a long trip.
Okay, but so, if it was sub warp and then one was warp, the two things don't equal in my head because warp is so much exponentially faster than slower than warp travel.
Well, I mean, they were working out holodeck dynamics here. Maybe they're working out warp drive dynamics here.
Maybe there's some kind of travel techie that can help us out. But it seems to me like months at sub warp would be just seconds at warp. So
Yeah,
it just
more
didn't
than
seem
likely.
right to me. The conversion chart. So I don't know if they got it right or wrong.
I'd say
Maybe
maybe
they
less
asked
than a
Dr.
second.
Becky.
Maybe they don't. Maybe they didn't have it then, and they were just making it up as they went. And they said, "Wait a minute, people are actually paying attention to this bullshit."
Mhm.
Whoops. I don't know. I don't
They're
know.
just saying stuff. A weird thing I saw, the tricorder was like dirty. Beverly's tricorder had like a smudge mark
I
on
like
it.
that. I like
Huh?
it. That means that it's well used. That
Yeah.
means that it's lived in. It gives Trek a lived in kind of feel.
That's out of the normal universe for it though. So it's kind of stuck out to where other universes everything's dirty and weathered.
I quite frankly did notice because I was looking at that weird org chart that she was carrying around on plexiglass.
Mm-hmm.
Like what was that about? It had a bunch of like orange triangles and purple rectangles and
yeah, I think the Okudas had a cricket back then or whatever, a plotter with a blade, and I think it showed up great on standard definition television because it looked like it might be some kind of high tech display, but in HD it's just smoke white plexiglass with stickers on it.
What's a cricket?
It's what I have. It's a vinyl cutter. And it's a plotter basically. You know what a plotter is?
No, you're bringing out all the fancy lingo tonight.
You never took shop class in school?
I am but a dumb man. I am but a dumb man. I don't know any of this stuff. You need to enlighten me. Please mansplain it to me, sir.
I will mansplain what a cricket is.
I killed it in my garage earlier.
It's a popular thing now where instead of printing something out, you run vinyl or paper through what looks like a huge printer. I have it in some of the Serenity Builds videos we have. But it cuts out the vinyl or the paper, and the vinyl a lot is like heat transfer vinyl, so you can make T-shirts. Like I made T-shirts for Serenity and her merch for her websites and stuff. But it cuts it out, and then you can iron it on. Or what I like to do now is I cut out the vinyl, so you get this whole sheet of vinyl, and it cuts stuff out with a razor blade that goes in every direction according to you like hit a print file basically, but instead of printing, it cuts. And then like I put a reverse image on the T-shirt, and then I take paint. And I use that like a stencil. And then once it dries, mostly I pull the vinyl off. But then they have iron-on vinyl. And it's just fun to have a cricket because you can make all kinds of stuff.
Gotcha. And so they had the 1988 version of a cricket.
Oh, plotter. It's basically a robotic table that you can put a marker in and it'll draw like blueprints or something like that by moving either the arm connected to the pen, which is usually like a Sharpie or something, or a version of, or it'll move the actual tray that the pen is underneath. So it basically a printer goes back and forth like this, but a plotter will actually draw real lines. And like you'll see different plotters that do signatures for people. Like a lot of times when businesses send out cards and they're hand signed, it's just like a machine that moves a pen.
Gotcha.
So plotter.
Okay. So now we know. So that's what the Okudas were using to
I think they had
Beverly's
a plotter because it looked like it was printed out on a cricket, but like an HD, it just didn't look good. Unless the display technology is so good, it's some kind of high tech color e-paper plexi.
Right. It's psychic paper. That's it. We solved it.
Psychic paper. But maybe it looks so bad to us now because we don't understand the technology, but in another 10, 15 years, we'll be like, oh, that's what that's supposed to be. Okay. So you never know.
We can always retroactively apply it. So
yeah.
Sounds good. So
where did he get his platinum wings? As an airplane flight when he was a student or a kid or something?
Well, they weren't Starfleet. They were freighter.
Right.
Which is why they couldn't be compelled to come off the planet because Starfleet had no jurisdiction over them.
Yeah, I think that was a mistake in the episode too, because Data said it's not a starship. It's not Starfleet.
Yeah, well, it's not a starship, implying that it's not Starfleet. It's a freighter, so
it's not Starfleet, but Data keeps like giving away like the stuff you're not supposed to say out loud, and that's very unhelpful to Riker trying to figure out the situation.
Well, give me an example.
Well, actually, we can't just take them because the Prime Directive states, and it is their right to stay if they would like to, because we can't. You don't have to say that out loud.
Well, I mean, but the thing is, if Starfleet is not duplicitous, and if Riker wants to establish good relations with this planet, there's no reason to try and pull a fast one on them because it's just going to bite them in the ass anyway.
What do you think about Riker, going against the Prime Directive, or wanting to at least?
I think that he wanted to get bitten in the ass by Barada. I find it suspiciously TOS. I find it they just needed another plot beat, and they needed to undercut Beata sexually. They literally had to objectify her and sexualize her in order to move the plot forward, which is unforgivable. And it does Riker a disservice too, because the Riker that we grow to know is adventurous. He is always up for sexy times. Mm-hmm. But I feel like this felt more manipulative than genuine. I don't know why. Maybe because of the way they portrayed her reaction to him. It's almost like he had an ulterior motive to change her mind through sex. Mm-hmm. And that is not the Riker we know. I feel like Riker is hyper evolved when it comes to that stuff, and everything with him has to be consensual in order for it to be appealing and challenging to him. It's not something that he can just slip in.
I think he was using his wiles. So I think that might have been a gender reversal thing. He was using his wiles.
I feel like that does a disservice to Will.
I agree.
To write him like that. I could see Kirk doing that. Mm-hmm. But different era. And different guy, really.
So it was that interesting situation. He was going to take him no matter what, even if it was against the General Order 1 Prime Directive, right? But what did you think about Ramsey and his followers and his crew and the group that he formed with these people that like want to do stuff his way, and they would rather die than go, okay, you don't want us here, bring us to another planet, we'll be a happy little family. They'd rather live in their cave in the dirt on that planet. I don't understand why. And I think even Tasha calls him out. He's like, she's like, you heard what they said, right? They're going to kill you. He's like, I don't want to die, but moving, that's not so fun.
Yeah. Well, a couple of different questions there. So how do I feel about Riker insisting that he's going to break the Prime Directive, even against these people's will? The people who he's saving don't want saving. They say they don't need saving. They're in it for the long haul for a reason. And they kind of dovetail together the points that you're making and the questions that you're asking. Quite frankly, I did not like that. I don't know that Riker would have done that. He's saying that, well, I can't have the death of these people on my conscience. Well, then what is the Prime Directive for? Mm-hmm. If it's not to guide you in making a hard decision, and in a way, it's a get out of jail free card. I can't help you because my laws preclude me from helping you. It's specifically stated that I can't do it. But I have this moral conundrum where, as an empathetic human being with the power to save you, I'm going to swoop in and save you because it's the right thing to do. It's not the Prime Directive thing to do, but it's so I wish he would have at least struggled with it more, but they just give lip service to the fact where he thinks that he can't bear the guilt. Well, what about the countless other people who have died on countless other planets that you've probably been to in your Federation career, where the Prime Directive has guided you away from maybe helping somebody or precluded you from doing what you thought was right? You'd think that, again, this is a debate and a question that seasoned Starfleet officers would have come to terms with, would have put to rest in some capacity. I think that they do it for this just for dramatic tension. And the fact that Ramsey doesn't want to move, I can see that. You know why? Because we're settled here. We have wives here. You don't get to dictate how I live my life. You don't get to tell me you go here, you go there. You, Starfleet, have no jurisdiction over me. You, Beata, won't stop anyway. You're going to kill me. So why would I think that it would be any better? What's the point if I have to leave? I don't know. I feel like that's him making a stand. And that's even if he has to die, at least he's sticking to his guns and dying for a reason that he believes in. I don't know if I was coherent there. I feel like I rambled a little bit.
I totally got what you were saying. Perhaps to be a martyr, but he's got a family, and these people have families. She's got a wife, so he's not only sacrificing himself; he's sacrificing his wife, his friends' wives and children. Some of them,
but they're going to put them all to death anyway.
Not if they leave the planet. They have the option of going somewhere else. So that's a bad decision, staying and getting your whole tribe killed. They're not just going to kill Ramsey and let everybody else go. They're killing everybody.
Yeah.
So leave. Get out of there. Go to a different planet.
I guess they just want to make a point.
Yeah.
I don't know that it's you know what? I can see your point of view there. And yeah, it is kind of dumb and selfish in many, many ways. But again, for the dramatic purposes of the story, it's something that they have to do to prolong the drama until they can find the cure at the 0 hour. And
0 hour. That was a good episode of X-1 if you ever heard it. I don't know if you did. That's another thing about Ramsey. He's like acclimated to the planet with the haircut. Bad hair. I think he had a mullet. He had the same hair as Beata.
They have one barber school on that planet that shows everybody the same haircut.
It's a monoculture of hair.
It is, yeah. I mean, it's always a monoculture of hair on Star Trek. Are you kidding? They can only make the one appliance. So every one of them has to be mass produced.
The Flowbee was very, very big back then. Maybe that's what happened. Everybody got Flowbeed.
Every Cardassian has the same hair. Every Klingon has the same hair. Every Romulan has the same bad fucking wig.
Yeah. That's bad.
Yeah. So,
is there, let's see, before we talk about the rest of the things we haven't talked about and do our cleanup before we do our final thoughts and ratings, is there anything else we do at this part of the show? Christopher D. Philippus.
Well, I think we've discussed most of what I wanted to discuss. It's about time to do our episode crush. What is your episode crush?
Who was your episode crush? You go first.
Follow me. Don't follow me. I haven't either. I got to be honest with you. I haven't either. I don't even know that I have a crush this episode, quite frankly. I don't like the way anybody was written. I think all the characters were done a disservice. And I can't think of anything that stirred me to say, ooh, what's yours? And then maybe that'll jog me.
Geordi. I liked seeing Geordi become Geordi.
All right.
Yeah. So I have a crush on Geordi's character for this episode.
All right, I can see that. I mean, it was a pretty cool character turn for him. So,
yeah, it was
my episode crush is Worf's booming sneeze. How's that? So, how about
what was your favorite
yeah.
part?
No, what was your favorite part? No, you hang up first.
Oh man. Well, the conversation between Geordi and Worf, I think.
Wow.
Yeah, maybe seeing a couple little breadcrumbs of Beverly helping out Jean-Luc, and because we both got Riker and Picard with their shirt off this episode.
Yeah, we forgot about shirtless Picard,
which is maybe a first in this series.
Maybe
have we got shirtless Picard yet?
I think this might have been the first time.
Yeah, so she seems to just show up. It's not with the cure; it's just with some tea or something, some sleepy time tea.
She said it would guarantee to make you feel better,
but it tastes horrible or something, right?
Or your money back.
So it was nice to see. I think I'm giving the writers too much credit, but it was nice to see that even in a gender neutral society of the future, supposedly, that people that care about each other still take care of each other in that moment. So that might be my favorite moment.
It's kind of Beverly's job.
It is her job to be a doctor, and it's kind of like the Boyce bringing whiskey, but she brings tea to him. It's probably Earl Grey, right? She got to know which one it is, or coffee and croissant.
Okay, before it got too elaborate.
Yeah. So,
my favorite part of the episode is Wesley in the bio bed with his rainbow tunic on, covered in sweat, making everybody sick on the ship.
Yeah, space COVID. So, inspired deep inhalation That's
right, because it smelled so pleasant.
Why does in 24th century technology, why does she have to know how it's transmitted to cure it? Because obviously by now we can just take a sample of a virus and look at it on a microscopic level and replicate a vaccine for it.
Because the virus mutates every 37 seconds. Didn't you hear that part?
37 in a row?
She's having a lot of trouble tracking this bug down because it just keeps mutating and mutating and mutating.
So
I'm surprised it didn't get up and start walking around before the end of the episode.
It gets transferred, figuring that out. How does that help her?
Because then she can stop the means of transmission and she cauterizes everybody's nostrils on the ship. Oh, mask. I guess that's a way to go, too.
But yeah, that would stop that. But you would think they would all be in some kind of personal force field, like on a TAS with, the gold line around them.
Yeah, that makes no sense because then how do they breathe? But anyway, I don't know. I mean, that's what all those space lasers are for nostril cauterization. If nothing else.
Don't worry, doctor will wave a blue light over you.
All right, what was the 47?
The 47, this is a very pronounced one. And since you told me about last week or last episode, what was the last episode of Next Gen we did?
We did data lore.
Data lore. You said this was...
it's lore about... Oh, I did that joke.
It's lore about data. I get it now. I never got it before you explained it to me. So thank you for mansplaining that to me. I needed it. I need to be helped.
I mean, you're dumb. So... Yeah, obviously.
I'm a dumb male, obviously. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, don't even go near that library. You'll burn it down.
This is the first script without Roddenberry's touch, correct? That's what we were saying?
They were saying that I think Data Lore was the last one that he had a hand in. So, but I don't know production. This might have been written somewhat before that. You would have to ask Dr. Trek or read the
next
actual
time I
production
see him.
order of these things.
Awesome guy. Hung out with me. He shouldn't have, but he did. He's a great guy. I needed to buy him a beer, but apparently everybody that night was buying Dr. Trek alcohol, so he didn't need it. Right. He's anyway. He was a rock star there. So 2 points about this is first one, after Roddenberry having a hand in the script writing, it's a total mess. So maybe we got to give Gene a little bit of credit for at least not letting horse be put on television. Because this episode is horseshit.
There's plenty of episodes that Gene had his hand in that were horseshit too. So I don't know, man.
But it was cohesive, and it tried to say something. What was it about? A lot of it. Some clunkers slipped through, but nothing was random things.
Was that cohesive?
Which one?
What of Lazarus? But what of Lazarus? The alternative factor.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Goatee always gets me. But this one was just, it seemed like it was like written by predictive text from an iPhone, like not even AI or GPT kind of thing, but just like, okay, what do we do here next? I don't know. Just write this. Okay, we're good. Now we just need another act kind of thing. And it just was not good. But the other thing about this not being Gene Roddenberry's first thing, now I know from what I've heard, the 47 references are from the younger team of writers that joined the show after the whole Chaos on the Bridge era. So in this first episode, post Roddenberry, we have a very prominent 47 mention, and that is Data says it. He's got 48 minutes to get there, get to the neutral zone to help the other crews. Correction, that's 47.
Right, because Riker keeps yapping.
Yep, he keeps yapping like a man.
Yeah.
Shut your trap. Yap.
Shut your manhole, man.
But so that was a very prominent one and one of the first ones, but there'll be a lot like that coming up. So I at least, hey, finally we're getting there.
Cool beans. So I think it's time for me to ask you a trivia question.
3 questions.
I got you for 3 questions. It's time for trivia for Albie.
See if I can get these as I expose my nipple. See if anything, the audio listeners got to check out YouTube just to see my nipple.
Woohoo! Who accompanies
my nipple on camera is a first, so this show is an exclusive first.
Okay. Yeah. Who accompanies the Medusan ambassador Kolos in the original series episode? Is there in truth no beauty? Hint: she wore a see-through diaphanous gown, but there was no nipple.
Was it Diana Muldaur? Muldar?
She did play the character, yes.
I don't remember the character's name.
Oh, Dr. Jones. It's Dr. Miranda Jones.
Miranda Jones. Miranda.
Dr. Jones.
We just did 2 different movies right there.
No time for love, Dr. Jones. In the movie The Wrath of Khan, what Vulcan maxim does Captain Spock quote as he dies of radiation poisoning?
Oh, dear. The good of the many outweighs the good of the few.
It's the needs of the many.
The
I
needs of
think
the many
you're wrong.
outweigh the needs of the few. And then doesn't Kirk say, or the one?
Yeah, no, he says. Spock says them all.
Oh, does he?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I have the Christmas tree ornament. It's very sad.
Okay. All right, I'm gonna rub this
Half point, half point.
All right, and do not grieve. It is logical.
It's logical. Man, I cry every single time.
Outweigh the needs of the few.
I've never seen
or the
Ren
one.
sob before she watched Wrath of Khan. She sobbed when Spock died. She would not watch part 3 for months. I'm like, it's called Search for Spock.
He comes back. It's okay. Spoilers.
Yeah, but like it traumatized her. She was like, no, they shouldn't do that to anybody in a movie.
Okay, if you don't get this one, we're not friends anymore.
Okay.
And I'm going to give it, imagine like a little jazzy sting as the opening to this question. What Emmy Award-winning actor known for playing a radio doctor played the commanding officer of the USS Bozeman in the Next Generation episode Cause and Effect?
Who is Kelsey Grammer?
Yes. And I just watched the new episode of Frasier before coming on mic with you earlier this evening. I got to be honest with you, the first 2 were better than the second 2.
How many are out so far of the new
4.
new show? Oh,
4. So I liked the first 2 episodes better than I liked the second 2.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I like the reboot altogether. I think it's great. I'm happy to have it. And I want it to last for another 11 years. There, cool. I said
you got Kelsey Grammer behind you, right? I think we got one of those comments in the YouTube. I don't know if you go down the YouTube comments, you need to start.
It's Frasier.
Yeah,
I got Frasier. I got Martin and Eddie, and I got Niles. I don't know if Niles is on camera or not.
Does Niles? He isn't. Does he come with a handkerchief?
No, but he's doing his tie up.
Okay. So. Yeah, one of our YouTube comments just said Frasier in the background.
Really?
Yeah.
I missed that one. Okay.
Yeah, you got to go through them one time. You go to the behind the scenes and then you just hit comments and you can go down hundreds of comments and look.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
so yep, there's Frasier. There's Frasier. I looked long and hard. Actually, I found Frasier relatively quickly. I found Martin and Eddie faster than I thought I would. It took me forever to find the Niles one. I thought it would be the opposite. I thought finding the Martin one would be hard, but
I've learned if like something that you're passionate about, get the whole series as soon as it drops or pre-order it.
Oh, I mean, I just got a bug in my bonnet to get these years and years and years after they came out. I don't have any Funko Pop, and just for some reason, I got it in my head that I wanted the Frasier ones. So I went out, and for me, you see, you're wrong. You're wrong. You don't do that. You wait the years and years and years so that you have the thrill of the hunt, so that you can go out to different stores and search through piles of Funko Pops on sale or wherever. And they sell Funko Pops in sneaker stores too. And what the hell is this store? You know, you never know where you're going to find them. Like, to me, that's the fun part. That's what, now I look at that and I think of like the search that I had for them. I didn't just click a button.
There's got to be 2 more, right? Isn't there like a Daphne or anybody?
There's no Daphne, no Roz.
Only 3?
Because we live on the reverse of the Angel One planet. So
I did just pre-order Captain 7 of 9 from Picard.
Cool.
Yeah, and I couldn't get it from Amazon or any place else. I had to do it through StarTrek.com. I don't know if it's exclusive or not, or it just hasn't. But the other ones were available on Amazon, but that one wasn't. But that's the only one I wanted. That and Beverly. But like apparently the internet's up in arms because they don't have badass Beverly Funko Pop from Picard yet.
Son of a
Hopefully
bitch.
They make it because I'll buy that one. But they made Captain 7 of 9 and it's really cool looking. So I'm definitely going to get that because 7 of 9 action figures on the secondary market go for crazy. But see, if I don't get them right away, like the Gilmore Girls, remember I was telling you, I wanted to get them, but I figured I had time, sold out, I don't know, thousands
so it turns
% markup.
I wasn't on your side.
So
it's
if you
time
ever
for
see Gilmore Girls, Ally McBeal or Felicity Funko Pops, hook me up, help me out. I'll reimburse.
I'll hook a brother up. So, hey, if we're going to Trek and Tell now, I might as well show my Funko Pops or Frasier.
Yeah, do that.
So.
Do that.
All right, I have to take my nipper off there. And
I can't take my nipple off.
Nipper. So here is Frasier. You can see him trying to get it without the glare.
Yeah.
He's got his vest on. You know, it's kind of like third season Frasier with the long hair.
Okay.
And then they have the late. Whoa! I just dropped it. Oh no! They have the late great John Mahoney as Morton.
Oh yeah,
and they got Eddie in there.
I love
that. Looks
Eddie.
Nothing like Eddie. I mean,
not at all. It looks like they pulled it from a different set.
So there's Morton and Eddie, but it's cute. They got his flannel and his slacks, so I like that. And
from
his
Arrow,
cane too. I don't know if you can see the cane. There it is.
Oh, there's the cane. Yeah, he was a great actor. He was fun. Did you ever see the Star Trek Voyager Frasier thing?
Yes.
Yes,
great. I did. I did. Wasn't it on like the Emmys or SNL?
Yeah, Emmys or something like that. Yeah.
And here is the one that I had the hardest time finding, which is David Hyde Pierce, Niles. And like I said, he's straightening his tie.
Very nice.
So it's quintessential Niles. And I don't know how these Funko Pops do it, but they do somehow capture the essence of what the characters look like. Like, to me, like that's recognizably Niles. I don't know how.
Even though it's just the same eyes and eyebrows of every other character.
Yeah, I mean...
Yeah. Well, I applaud you for keeping them in the box, because I see a lot of people that take their Funkos out of the box, and most Funkos just look like dude or woman. So without the box, you really don't know who they are, you know?
Did I just knock over the Enterprise? Or...
Oh, your hand should be painted green while you do that, Chris.
Oh, no. I knocked over Superman, too.
Don't mess with Superman's cape.
Too late. Too late.
Right. Spitting in the wind over there.
Too late to turn back now. I believe I'm
I want to get the Gilligan's Island ones. I found
they have Gilligan's Island ones. How do they have fucking Gilligan's Island Funko Pops and not Sam and Al?
Yeah, I'm bitter. They need to make Sam and Al. And then who else? I guess Donna.
Which Donna?
Hot
Donna.
First one.
That's what I just said. And maybe a Gushy. And maybe a Dr.
You need
Ruth.
a Gushy. You need a hand link. Because I mean, even with the I have one. Lower Decks, they have Badgie as one of them.
Badgie. Okay, what's your Trek and Tell?
Trek and Tell. Oh, I got a Trek and Tell. Thank you.
Sigh, Badgie.
Since this episode's kind of focused on Riker, I think it's time to pull out my Riker Galoob action figure.
Galoob. Wow, that
Galoob
brings back
Riker.
memories. Galoob.
Where's my glasses? Where's my glasses? So I can read a little bit of this to you. Commander Riker. Ooh, 3D, maybe, if this is a select episode. Okay. Includes phaser weapon and tricorder, analyzer, and it's posable. Commander William Riker, #1 officer of the USS Enterprise starship.
Well,
price tag on it at $3.99.
Is that good?
Yeah, I paid a lot more than that. So
I bet. Yeah. What's the price tag? What store is it from? Does it have like a store?
Yeah, it doesn't look like it's hold on, let me get
it's not like an old Corvette's label or
or McCrory, a 5
yeah,
and dime.
McCrory's. Yeah.
What else? Two Guys, a Sears. There's no, it says 484089 H2324.
867-530-99.
This is Galoob number 5340. It's a pretty good likeness. It could be a Romulan or it could be Riker. It's weird seeing Riker without the beard, but of course he doesn't have the beard here. He's got a phaser glued in his hand or sculpted into his hand and a tricorder on a string, because everyone knows little kids want to analyze soil samples and such.
I got my tricorder on a string wrapped around my finger.
Stardate 41000.1, 78 years after the original missions, an all-new USS Enterprise and her crew head out to an all-new adventures. Their missions to protect and defend Earth Federation bases and colonies, to seek out new life and new civilizations, to boldly go where no one has gone before. So that's what I got this week. this time.
Da, 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 da.
So I'm going to pepper in the galoob when I don't have anything specific. Of course, I
Gotcha.
have behind me, I have the Angel One and 101101
on laser disc.
Yeah, laser disc and unopened again. So I just watched this one on Paramount Plus.
Cool. Well,
Yeah, so that's
very
my Trek and
nice.
Tell. Yeah.
I like it. It's better than my Frasier Funkos.
Do you have a Trek and Tell? Send us in. How can people send us their Trek and Tell to let us know what they have?
Oh, they can send us anything to P.O. Box 542, Bayport, New York, 11705, if it is a physical thing. Or you can send us pictures in many, many, many places. You can post on our Patreon site, patreon.com/Treksploration. You can post on Instagram @TreksplorationPod. You can exit to @Treksploration. You can email us a glossy scan, TreksplorationPod@gmail.com. I guess you can describe it over the phone at 707-847-6682. Maybe your Trek and Tell is an impersonation of a Worf sneeze, and that's what you're going to do. You're going to call us up over there. And as I said, you can send things to the newly reminted P.O. Box 542, Bayport, New York, 11705. And you can also, I guess, sit at the bar, put bread in our jar at Buy Me a Coffee /Treksplloration. Is that how it works? Or is it Buy Me a Coffee? Here it is. buymeacoffee.com/Treksplloration.
There you go.
And if you do send us, and we'll put it in 3D, like Albie will render to a 3D episode, 3D. So we can show your Trek and Tell in 3D.
Because we are the best what?
3D Trek show on the internet.
Yep. Well, yeah. Best 3D Star Trek podcast. There's some Star Trek movies in 3D that are better than us, probably.
Shut up, you. Never. Hey, Albie. We will, of course, feature any and all things that come in from our fans on upcoming shows. Enlighten us as to what those upcoming shows are, please.
Okay, well, next time on our Next Generation rewatch, we're doing Season 1, Episode 15, 11001001.
That's with the binars.
It is. And my favorite, Minuet.
Ooh, I forgot about that. Minuet's
yeah, how can you forget about Minuet?
Yeah, okay.
Well, I truly loved.
Now I want to talk about that episode.
Yeah, I can't wait.
All right. Looking forward to that.
And what do we got coming up for our bonus episode? And do we have anything special about that going on?
Well, it's the premiere of Lower Decks is our next bonus episode, which is nice because it dovetails with the premiere of season 5 of Lower Decks, which is coming in a couple of weeks as we record this. The premiere episode is called Second Contact, and we're lining up a very special surprise guest for that episode. So everybody,
surprise guest,
tune in.
I'm
for
thinking
a special
that might
guest.
Be our most viewed episode thus far.
Oh, yeah. Once they find out the real star power that's going to be on screen for that one, they'll be like, oh, this is what Treksploration has been missing this whole time.
We might be stunt casting. We might be stunt casting for this one. But,
a little bit.
It's something we've been wanting to do for a while, so I'm very excited about it, and hopefully it works out.
I'm sure it will.
Yeah, so that's next time. Do we have anything else we want to talk about this episode before we sign off? Any?
I guess we never did like final thoughts.
Yeah, final thoughts. And just quick, we got to do that. Yeah.
Quick final thought. Misguided from beginning to end. Nothing but a bag of cliched premises, and not only cliched but poorly executed, even for cliches. So this is one to skip. If it comes up in the rotation, feel free. I give you permission to just hit next episode. I would give it 1 shaved, exposed man chest out of 5. How about you?
Shave their chest.
Everybody but Riker.
Oh, that's true. Although I know there was like some kind of nipple continuity problem. I don't know if you noticed.
I was not paying attention. No.
Again, my screen is the whole wall, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So when Riker first puts the blouse on, it looks like his nipple area was shaved to show like, hey, this is my nipple, right? Just the nipple. like trimmed or something, maybe combed away from the nipple or something. But in different shots in the rest of the episode, his nipple's mostly covered by his chest hair. So just an interesting.
Well, I mean, that happens, right? So
yeah, I guess I've never combed away.
maybe it's breezy. So what? Give me your final thoughts.
Final thoughts is this episode is cobbled together, and if you're not paying attention, it's an episode, but whoever wrote the episode should have taken their name off of it, and maybe did. I want to say this is worse than Code of Honor, just personally. Obviously for different reasons and different scales, but it's just not good. And it does have moments, like I mentioned, that I enjoyed, but for the most part, it was just filler and just not executed at all well in any sense of the word. So I'm going to give it 2 smells that are slightly reminiscent of night blooming Throgny. a Klingon flower, I guess, Worf references.
Throgny, Throg you.
Yeah. How does he know what Klingons flowers smell like? I don't know. Did he order them special from 1-800-Flowers on the 24th century on Earth with the Rochelle?
1-800-Kalish. 1-800-Kalish. I don't know. Yeah. Yeah.
So he smelled flowers. So
yeah, sexist piece of garbage. Terrible episode. I wish Riker were here to mansplain to me how great it is so that I could love it too. You know,
but every episode is someone's least favorite and someone's most favorite. If you liked,
oh wow, this episode, we need to hear from someone who says this is their favorite
let us know
episode.
Why or what we got
you
wrong.
Have to exist out there somewhere.
Yeah, let us know.
Yeah, please.
And send us your pictures. I don't know if you're seeing, but in final credits, you send us your pictures.
There's such an adorable picture of Penelope on the couch. I love it.
Don't you love that? I had to put that in. I had to put that in.
I love it. Thank you. Thank you.
So send us your pictures. Check out all our links that Chris mentioned. And that's it. So you gave it 1 and I gave it a 2. Yeah. I think that's our lowest score so far collectively of any episode.
Maybe. I feel like maybe I've given ones before.
Yeah. I usually, my bottom is 3.
You love 3. You love everything.
But I
heard that about you.
I do. But no one loves me. No one loves me.
I think that we've beat this misogynistic piece of crap into the dirt. Let's say goodbye to all of them. Put everybody out of their misery.
You're going to want to subscribe, share, let everybody know. If you can't be part of our Patreon and you can't donate to help us afloat, share. Maybe somebody out there would like to hear from us and like to join our crew, and maybe they can help out. So sharing is caring. And please
share with share. If we get share to talk about the show, well, the sky's the limit.
And you're definitely going to share. So people see the upcoming new episode with our stunt casting guest for the next episode for Lower Decks Second Contact. I'm excited about that. So for Treksploration, I'm Albie.
And I'm Chris.
Remember, free the nipple.
And please, someone explain to me what's going on here.
Yada!